got Abilene Christian, a 20-point win there, and then maybe the best game we've had so far in the tournament as they beat Alabama in the Sweet 16.
But you know what? As you see the tip-off, UCLA out of any team needed those games to reassure the confidence. It's a reason why they're here playing tonight. Those battles they went through just to get to this point.
Michigan controls the tip, first possession of this Elite Eight matchup. Michigan is big. Their front court undersized, oversized. Their backcourt undersized as Smith gets a big man on him with a switch. Franz Wagner dumps it in. Dickinson, little turnaround. Remember, he's left-handed. That was his offhand. And an empty set first trip down for the Wolverines.
Interesting defense early on. Looked like more of a zone defense for UCLA. But what it does, it doesn't allow those straight line passes or the Michigan guards to break down the defense and get deep inside. See, it's still down.
Johns with the pick. Johns all the way. Michigan on the board first. It's what they do best. They force a ton of turnovers. They're coming off a terrific Sweet 16 effort in which they forced turnovers, scored a bunch of points, got a lot of easy ones, and Johns has really taken his game to another level. He's playing about 25 minutes per game now, after he averaged about 10 minutes a game prior to the injury to Isaiah Livers. Here's Juzang. He'll get up the first one, short. Brooks gives it to Smith. Point guard hands it up. Be a lot of ball movement. Michigan plays a beautiful brand of basketball when they're clicking. And there's good defense in there by Riley.
And that's the kind of one-on-one defense you want. Solid by Riley. Able to contest Dickinson without picking up an early one.
Riley, he'll pull it. And the lefty comes up short. Might have been blocked. Nope. Straight air ball. Michigan ball. There's Juwan Howard. Got a chance to not only play in 2 Final Fours, but go as a coach with a win here today. Michigan has a #1 seed, first time since Howard was playing for the Wolverines. They've been in that top seed. What a great story he's been, the Big Ten Coach of the Year. Franz Wagner, younger brother of Mo, is a star at Michigan, now in the NBA with Boston. And Mike Smith will get it organized here. These two diminutive point guards going at it. Tiger Campbell and Mike Smith. Gets the switch. Brooks steps into one. Little floater. No. Out of the pack comes Jules Bernard. Bernard had a hot start in the Sweet 16 matchup against Alabama on Sunday. Riley falls down, kept his dribble. There goes Campbell down. Man, good hands, got it from both sides. Ends up in the hands of Brooks. And Johns lost it out of bounds. That'll be UCLA ball.
Well, 2 early turnovers for UCLA. Again, you talked about UCLA taking care of the basketball, only averaging 7 turnovers in the tournament, 8 overall. But one thing Michigan is able to do well, they don't force a lot of turnovers, but in the last game, you know, against Florida State, they forced 14. They converted that over to 24 points.
UCLA going to need 7 wins for a national championship, having to go through the first 4. 2 of their wins coming in overtime as Juzang knocks it down. First basket of the game for the Bruins comes from Johnny Juzang.
And that time, just Franz Wagner late on that switch. You got to know the scouting report that comes off that screen that he's going to be ready to shoot it. Got to be early.
Wagner at 6'9", backing his man down, and an air ball. Dickinson runs it down. Shot clock down to 6. Dickinson loses the handle. They look unsettled, both of them.
Well, take Juzang right here on the baseline and watch the screen right here. You got to be ready to go if you're Wagner because the switch was coming. Brandon Johns, I can hear him up here telling him, switch. Now, you don't want to switch too soon so you can slip a pass inside, but you got to know that if Juzang gets his feet set, BA, it's over. Count it.
Juzang fouling out of the Sweet 16 game at 13 points. He's been carrying them offensively, but they got a lot of weapons. Both of these teams are extremely balanced as Riley comes up short. There's Jaquez. He has been outstanding, and his first basket of the game, Jaime Jaquez, that's going to be a name you'll hear all night tonight.
Well, I mean, he just figures out a way to outwork his opponent. Beautiful pass inside, but how about Tiger Campbell on the strip down low? Well, the energy is here. You can feel it. Jaquez is soaking it up right now. Just knocked down the three. Said, you know what? I want two the hard way.
Welcome back to Lucas Oil Stadium, where Michigan and UCLA are underway. Both teams just one win away from a trip to the Final Four, but they're doing it, both of them, without not just their top performers, but also their emotional leaders. When Michigan lost Isaiah Livers to a foot fracture before the tournament, Hunter Dickinson told me it was devastating because when you got to practice an hour early, he was already there in a full sweat. But Brandon James filled big shoes quickly. He had not played 15 minutes in a single game all season. He's played at least 24 in every game since and was huge in the Sweet 16 victory. UCLA lost its top scorer, Chris Smith, to the torn ACL. They lost a lot of size and toughness. David Singleton told me, though, straight up, he said, you have to have toughness no matter how tall you are. No excuses here.
You know what, Allie, that's great to see because in here, but it's a little bit different because when Chris Smith went down, UCLA had more time to adjust. With Isaiah Livers, less time. You don't have time to prepare and put someone else. You see a jump shot right there. So it was a quicker turnaround for Michigan to be able to retool without their leading scorer.
Now that was in the Big Ten tournament. Remember, he played in the Big Ten tournament against Maryland and actually played 3 games on that stress fracture. Chris Smith, a star in the Pac-12, but it looks to me, watching UCLA, this is our 3rd game with the Bruins now, starting in the first 4. They're a lot more spread, they're a lot more open offensively, and Riley has really played well. There's a lot more freedom as Juzang comes up empty.
Well, you got more space to work, but also you're not focused on trying to get the ball inside, and that's not a bad thing. You see a beautiful
nice
move
take.
That time by Brooks, able to get inside. But again, now you spread the court a little bit more. Now you allow your guards and your wing players more space to try to navigate and work. If you don't have a shot, you kick it out, get some open jump shots. It's obviously boded well for UCLA.
And for Michigan, with injury comes opportunity, and Brandon Johns Jr. is starting to find his way now. His minutes are way up, and he has become an impact player. Jaquez runs into a wall, but got a flurry of fakes and moves inside the post. Can't connect on this one. That'll be Michigan ball. Hey, a reminder, you can scan this code right now to watch live games on your computer, phone, tablet, or streaming device with NCAA March Madness Live. Watch now at ncaa.com/March Madness. Download the app today. There goes Brooks, leaves it for Dickinson, two-handed jam. That's the ball movement, the action of Michigan offensively.
And also a quick hitting play. I mean, that one was like, as soon as you blink, now Eli Brooks is down the lane and you have to help. Once you do that, Dickinson's going to be wide open on the baseline. And on the opposite end, UCLA, keep our eye on them finishing inside. See a turnover here. Michigan is one of the better teams in the country that protect the paint. And see Dickinson right here maintaining this position. Fumbles it a little bit, but the explosion up to finish.
Each team with 3 turnovers. All of the field goals right now have been 2s. UCLA's made 2, Michigan with 3 made field goals. Both of these teams hang their hat on defense. Mick Cronin of UCLA, he is a defensive-minded coach. It's taken him a while, but he is finally somewhat pleased, as Mick Cronin can be with the way they're playing defense right now. Johns had the table pulled out of him.
How about Jules Bernard on that? But you know, go back to Mick Cronin, who's a very good friend of mine. To change the mindset of a total team. One player is one thing. But when you're talking about 8, 9, 10 players on a different way of playing. Again, their pace in 2018, they were like 17th in the country. They're in the bottom half right now. So you have to change everything you do, and it takes time. But once it took hold, this UCLA team has what it takes to be successful long term.
Offensive foul here on Riley, I believe. Chandri Brown just in the game for Michigan on the screen here. Riley will go to the bench.
Let's take a look here. Yeah, he did move up the lane. And if you're Riley too, don't want to pick up those fouls away from the basket, because that early foul, you know that when you battle with Dickinson inside, you're going to end up picking up another one, and that's 2 in the first half, and you may be regulated to sitting down on the bench next to your coaches.
Dickinson gets free inside and scores it. You see, Kenneth Nuba is on the floor. Mick Cronin is going to use 2 bigs that haven't played much unless he matches up against a big opponent. And that's Mac Etienne and Kenneth Nuba. And you can bet they'll be using up as many fouls as they can. Nuba there with the offensive rebound off the Campbell miss. Nuba's played very few minutes. Bernard, halfway down it was as it rims out. Mike Smith working off the screen from Dickinson. Eli Brooks will fire a 3. And Nuba with the rebound, got a couple of boards already in his first minutes on the floor. Campbell. He's the guy that makes it happen for UCLA. His probing ability, penetrate and kick. Juzang, double team. Smith got a hand on it. Ball's loose, and that'll be another UCLA turnover. Let's see, officials coming together here. And they might overturn this one. We'll take a timeout. Yep, they're going to overturn it. That'll stay in the possession of UCLA. Timeout on the floor. 8-4, Wolverines. All right, let's check the power behind the numbers presented by Powerade. This excellent Michigan defense, especially covering the three-point line, and their first 3 opponents all well below their season averages behind the three-point line. This was the call that was overturned. They didn't look at this on replay. They can do that last 2 minutes of regulation and the last 2 minutes of overtime, but the officials came together, Bo Borowski, Vern Harris, and Lee Cassell, and determined it was UCLA ball. Got it right, and UCLA will retain the possession here. Bernard had that one partially blocked, comes up short, gets his own, and Bernard will reset it with a fresh 20.
And we shouldn't be surprised that Michigan lays its hat on the defensive end, knowing that not only did Juwan play for
Bernard, another one. That misses.
Pat Riley, but a coach. So he's brought that mentality to the University of Michigan.
And was Wagner on the line? He was. Put the ball back in the hands of UCLA, and Mick Cronin going back to his bench. Johnny Juzang will re-enter. 12 consecutive misses for UCLA. Bernard will sit.
It's been a common thing, BA, is that you're not going to get a lot of clean looks unless you can really execute against this Michigan defense. We've seen early that the contested shots, hand in the face, body in position, makes it really tough for UCLA to feel comfortable in their offense right now, in particular when they're getting shots up at the basket.
Austin Davis' first minutes on the floor for Michigan. Singleton, who had that great finish to regulation against Bama and then overtime, and some key free throws as he tries to guard Brooks in the corner. That's his spot over there. Three-pointer is up and in for Chandri Brown. Brown transferred from Wake Forest. 1,000-point score there in 3 years, and has he been terrific in this NCAA tournament. 9-0 Michigan run here. They're up 11-4. The first made 3 of this game. Shot clock late here. Down to 4. Tiger Campbell in the corner for 3. Short. Brown with a rebound. Brown wants to push it. Defending Juzang, and Brown. Oh, it's blocked from behind by Jaime Jaquez.
Well, excellent defense that time. You see transition first. Brown out. Tries a Euro step by, but Jaquez not giving up on the play. On the last defensive play, you would see that Michigan pushed kind of a pro thing. The pick and roll BA down to the baseline, and you had Campbell in the corner, so you really had no room to work with. Smart defense by the Wolverines.
UCLA going with a little more size here as Campbell will get his first rest. Bernard returns to the lineup. UCLA had a couple of big men. Ali mentioned Chris Smith. They also lost Jalen Hill, who left the team due to personal reasons in late January. So they've had to totally change the way they do it. Inside, Wagner can't get it to go. Bernard runs it down.
And that big inside. You got to rely on your backcourt players to come up and clean up some of the loose change. And that time, Bernard able to get in and gobble up that rebound.
Here goes Juzang now, gets himself free, and the first basket for the Bruins in over 6.5 minutes.
That nice little elbow that time by Jaquez to get that shot off.
Mike Smith looking for Brooks. Kind of overloaded here on the near side. Wagner. Davis. They clear it out for him. Working on Riley. Davis with the left hand scores. Strong inside. Wave after wave of size. You've got Austin Davis, who's 6'10", 250. Hunter Dickinson, the freshman, the Big Ten freshman of the year, goes 7'1", 255. Every position, Michigan can match up with a bigger player. That was a concern for Mick Cronin. Again, late clock. Michigan defending well. And here's Riley, got to get one up. Juzang for three, got it.
2 in a row.
Johnny Juzang transferred from Kentucky. First year at UCLA, had some ankle problems. Missed the last regular season game, had some issues with that ankle, but he has come out in this NCAA tournament blazing hot until the Sweet 16. As I mentioned, got into foul trouble. Been a big score for them. Wagner on the take at 6'9", will lay it in. No contest there, Jimmy.
No, but you know what? He didn't have much room to operate in, but the quick dribble and the long frame got him to the basket in one bounce. Back line of the defense, no time to recover.
Juzang again, why not? He's got the hot hand. He's 4 of 6. The rest of the Bruins are 1 of 11. Johnny Juzang shooting the Bruins right back in this one.
Well, let me redeem myself right here. I gave this one to Jaquez, and it's Juzang to get it inside with the elbow. You know what? If you leave me open, I'm going to take this three-pointer. And sometimes people don't learn. You come late, I'm going to make you pay. UCLA up 3, down 3.
In the big venue here. How about this tournament summary? Baylor, first Final Four appearance, 71 years. Sick'em Bears and an old school Southwest Conference matchup coming up. The Houston Cougars are in their first Final Four since 1984, and Gonzaga, history in the making perhaps. They are 30-0. 30-0 and on their way to the Final Four. I was thinking about the great stretch UCLA had in their national title runs in the 60s and 70s. You know, they were 30-0 4 times in that magical run. 63 and 64, and then 72 and 73. John Wooden's UCLA Bruins win 30-0. Timeout on the floor. Media timeout. Back in a moment from Indy. Well, from Bloomington to West Lafayette to right here in Indianapolis. What a tournament this has been. The whole thing, the whole dance right here at Indy. 15-12 our score. Top-seeded Michigan. They lead it by 3. Johnny Juzang has scored the last 8 for UCLA, Jim. And he has 10 of the 12 points for the Bruins. Without him, this has a much different feel because it looked to me UCLA coming out a little unsettled in their first game in this venue.
Well, they were down early. See a steal now. Let's see if they can. UCLA can convert in transition. Great defense by Wagner.
Oohs and ahs. There's a heavy Michigan crowd here. Those who are lucky enough to get a ticket into this venue. Ann Arbor just 4 hours away. Michigan fans everywhere, especially a big group of Michigan Wolverine fans in Chicago. And so you can hear them. UCLA brings a good set of fans as well, but it's definitely tipping toward Michigan.
Well, we shouldn't be surprised at Johnny Juzang kind of going off. Last game they were down UCLA early by 8, but he scored 8 straight points, kind of what we just saw. Now you count it again right on cue. And, you know, the confidence part of it, too, when you lose your best player, now other guys got to step up. Now you're going to have more opportunities. That's played in the hands so well of Juzang and also Jaime Jaquez, because now they have the freedom to operate.
A little floater by Smith. Back tap from Davis. Another opportunity here from Michigan. Brooks goes to the hole. He's got a great float game, and he is fouled on his way in. By the way, you see that look that Juzang gave? He's got a little swag going here. He's feeling it right now.
Well, we kind of saw a little bit against Michigan State, remember? You know, just when they get into a rhythm, Juzang in particular off the dribble. Keep in mind, he's 6'6", okay, so he has size. So that rhythm dribble now, you keep your opponent off balance. One time he's off the dribble to the cup. It's a three-point shot or it's a pull-up.
Let's check in with Allie LaForce. What do you have, Al?
Brian and Jim, like you mentioned, the Michigan fans may be louder, but one of the ways that UCLA is overcoming it is over-communication out there. Coach Cronin told us the biggest thing is we have to talk. We emphasize it a lot. I'm a huge believer in it. They sit a pick and roll every single possession, so we have to call it out each and every time. It was uncomfortable for a lot of the players at first. Jules Bernard told me I'm naturally a quiet person, so I had to get used to it, but realizing that it really makes a big difference for our defense. He also said, Coach jokes that even if Michael Jordan is on the wing, if the ball's in the other wing, you're in help side. They're a very fundamental defensive team.
Well, it just goes back to his Cincinnati days, Bob Huggin days. See a corner shot that time that, you know, with them, the margin of error is very slim and almost a turnover. Great hustle that time on the floor.
UCLA ball.
Jaquez, you always say, who gets to the floor first will benefit. And this is a part of the mantra for Mick Cronin and his squad. We're going to fight, we're going to claw, we're going to make it ugly at times. But at the end of the day, we're going to be comfortable playing like this.
I tell you, I feel like, and just talking to Mick Cronin, UCLA has found another level of defensive intensity in this tournament. As Juzang on the cut, Jaquez hits it with a bullet. Juzang scores the layup. It's a one-point game.
Well, you know what, though? Here's the thing, B.A. It's hard for guys that used to playing offense to want to play D. But once it starts to work and you start to shut down and frustrate your opponents, now you buy into it. Everything then is focused on getting better and shutting down your opponent on the defensive end.
Remember, in the first 4 games, as Wagner goes, that is a, what do you got? What's it called? Offensive foul. 2 officials looking at one another. Wagner with the offensive foul, UCLA ball.
Well, in position, the right time. Look, now you get your feet outside of the restricted circle, and you drill on that all the time for instances and times when you really need it in a game.
Hey, Nuba's giving them some good minutes here. They needed size. Nuba's got some rebounds. He just took a charge. 8 turnovers for Michigan. Remember, UCLA was down 14 points in their first 4 games against Michigan State. Mick Cronin basically called them soft and wasn't afraid to tell them, you guys are going home quickly if you don't change things on the defensive side of the ball. And they did. They came back, forced overtime, and won that game at Mackey Arena in West Lafayette, and they have been rolling ever since. As Smith pulls up the 3, missed badly. Diamond with a rebound, and here is UCLA now with a chance to take the lead. Johnny Juzang has scored the last 12 for the Bruins. He has 14 of the 16 points. And it's going to be a foul on Smith.
Well, listen, at the beginning of this season, Johnny Juzang averaged about 10 points through the first 10 games. But since it's been 17 and a half, 17, a little bit under 18 points a game. The freedom of movement, understanding when to come off a screen, when to wait, when to be patient. And then what happens, BA, when you start to get that success, your teammates will find you and put the ball in your hand so you can be, you know, the scorer that they need him to be.
Not a teenager anymore. He turned 20 here at the NCAA tournament. Right before the second round matchup. Bernard got Johns on his back and lost the handle. Maybe too worried about Johns. Mike Smith came in and picked it. Inside Brooks. Ooh, that would have been something. Nuba with a rebound. Note Eli Brooks now checking Johnny Juzang. Back and forth in and out of the zone for Juwan Howard. Campbell on the take. No free runs to the rim here with Michigan. Always getting touched up. Campbell open for 3. Jaquez, offensive rebound, got a man up, and a foul. That's going to be on Wagner. Tell you, Jaquez, he has got a lot of tools in the shed, man. A lot of moves inside. He can draw fouls, and he just lands number 2 on Wagner. Timeout on the floor. Wolverines by 1 downtown Indy on a Tuesday night. UCLA come roaring back. Johnny Juzang show in this Elite Eight game. Mentioned that Johnny Juzang, he was frustrated in the Sweet 16. He thought his season was coming to an end, Jimmy. He's watching his team trail late in that game. Of course, UCLA had a terrific comeback, and then a big three-pointer to tie it to force overtime. He feels like he's gotten a second chance here. Juzang with just 13 points on 5 of 18 shooting, and maybe more importantly, just 1 of 6 from behind the arc. But he has answered all of that so far in this Elite Eight matchup.
Well, the defense has stepped up, and let me explain why that's important. In their game against Alabama, they got 74 field goal attempts to 69 for Alabama. But guess what? They forced 14 turnovers. Michigan only had 8. That's a differential plus 6. So you got 5 more shots at the basket because you created more turnovers. And that's kind of what we're starting to see a little bit here with UCLA's defense early on, create 8 turnovers for Michigan.
Jaime Jaquez knocks the first one down. Jaquez, all Pac-12 second team performer out of Camarillo, California, Camarillo High School. Excellent three-point shooter, and he has really picked up the Bruins in the paint after they lost Chris Smith. He is a key player. He and Juzang are a great complement to one another. Yep. Nuba getting some extra minutes here. Riley picked up his second foul on the other end of the floor. Dickinson back on the floor and just plows through Nuba, and the second charge that Nuba has taken.
Well, the post position is there. Nuba's using his chest to stay in place. Now, it's a little acting, yes, but it's Dickinson right there, probably a little frustrated. Now you pick up that foul instead of using the body of Nuba right there and bounce off of him and then make your move.
Saw McCronin asking the officials to look at a potential flagrant there. They do not. Nuba takes his second charge. 6'9" sophomore out of Nigeria, giving UCLA some strong minutes out of the post. Haven't seen Mac Etienne, the freshman, just yet. Nuba is earning some extended minutes.
Nuba's doing his job.
Here goes Campbell now, finds a little space, knocked it down. A little mid-range game is sweet for Tiger Campbell.
Yeah, and it's still worth something. You know, those 2 points, analytics says, you know, go to the basket or shoot a 3, but when you're trying to get back in the game or take a lead, that 2-point shot is worth every bit of it.
Johns, free reign inside, two-handed jam. UCLA was down 7, roared back to take the lead behind Juzang. Lead it by 1. There's Juzang again. He's having a night. 16 for Johnny Juzang.
And that was all Mick Cronin slowing the pace down. He knew that he wanted to get Juzang on that block. Then a quick downstream, get him right in the middle of the lane. Worked to perfection.
Dickinson against Nuba again. And Nuba got a hand on that one. He and Campbell. Save the possession does Smith. Outstanding point guard. Johns goes to the hole. Got it. Great intensity here in this Elite Eight matchup. Johns with a quick 6, hasn't missed yet. Slams one off the backboard. Johnny Juzang add 2 more. He's got 18 points. He's 8 of 10 from the field. He's made 7 consecutive baskets for UCLA. Johns again.
They're just going back and forth, both teams. Brandon Johns doing his thing, and then of course Juzang on this side, but that means that both defenses are not getting stops.
Approaching 1 minute remaining in the first half as Jaquez kicks it. Campbell, 4-3. Yes. First made 3 for Tiger Campbell. Just a 25% three-point shooter during the regular season. He's found himself open on a few occasions. Knocks this one down. UCLA by 4. Here's Brooks. And going to be a whistle on UCLA. You saw Dickinson, somebody blew him off the block there. Nuba with
yep.
some contact.
He got him with the hook and grab underneath. Just take a look as the ball goes up right there. Nuba hooks the right arm.
Yeah, easy call.
Easy call for the official.
There's a hook and hold in college basketball. You can assess a flagrant one. If the officials decide to look at it, they won't do it here. And Smith is going to swap with Brooks here. 43.6 seconds remaining in the half. Ooh. Trigger man Brooks, and Smith will get it organized. Mike Smith transferring from Columbia. It was a big score there. Here's Brown now. Campbell's got it. 5 seconds separating shot clock and game clock. I think Mick Cronin may want to talk about it. Indeed, timeout. UCLA. It's a low-scoring defensive grind, but it's entertaining. They're playing hard. UCLA with the ball in the lead when we come back. Tiger Campbell knocked down that first three. Oh, a little stare down of the Michigan bench. Let's check in with Allie LaForce.
Campbell staring down the Michigan bench. It just speaks to the attitude Mick Cronin was telling us about, that this team is afraid of nothing, and he really believes that have affected them in this tournament. The team also told me, we are very aware that your banner only gets hung at UCLA if you win a championship, and anything short of that is not good enough for us.
Yeah, in Los Angeles, there have been a few titles won there.
Yeah,
especially this calendar year. The Dodgers, the Lakers, of course. Yeah, Mick Cronin said, I got to bring these guys down sometimes. It's not about being too ready for the moment. It's actually a little overconfidence is his concern. He's got them rolling right now. They've won 4 straight. Remember, they're coming out of the first 4 to get here to the Elite 8. Here's Jaquez now. Got to get one up quick here. Clock ticks down to 3, down to 2. Smith with the speed dribble and a foul. 1.2 on the timer. And free throws coming for the lightning fast Mike Smith.
Well, good defense and contest right there. Brown outlet, and Smith does the right thing. No one stops you. Continue your dribble. That time Campbell could not get his body in front, and I think it was his right arm might have hooked Smith's arm and picked up a foul.
These 2 point guards in this game, I mean, unquestionably the best heads of hair you'll ever see
nice
in a
matchup.
Lettuce. I mean,
nice head of lettuce.
And Tiger Campbell, I mean, he's got the Bob Marley look going. It is outstanding, easily recognizable. And with all that size of Michigan,
yeah, but
Smith at 5'11" has really been the instigator of the offense.
You know, but it's funny. It goes back to 2 guys that you need to be generals on the court, to be extensions of your coach, and that's why they're both being able to be successful, even though he missed those 2 free throws.
Oh. 3/4 court heave. Oh. It had the distance, just a little offline. Well, it's a 4-point UCLA lead. Johnny Juzang goes for 18 of those 27. Michigan opened on an 11-4 run. UCLA closed the half on a 23-12 run. Michigan, this is the first time they have trailed at the half in this tournament. Two brand names, 1 half remaining for a trip to the Final Four. UCLA and Michigan. UCLA on a big run down the stretch there. 23-12 is their run, and they have a 4-point lead as we get ready for half number 2. And Jimmy, it really was Johnny Juzang. I mean, UCLA was unsettled. They scored 4 points in the first 10.5 minutes, and then Johnny Juzang happened.
Well, you brought up a good point, B, that Michigan already played here. It was the first time for UCLA playing, so they had to get their feet wet. Once they did it, in particular, Johnny Juzang, I mean, went off. Give Coach Cronin a lot of credit for moving and shifting the offense a little bit more, allowing Johnny a little bit more space to operate. Then it was the defense. Okay? Michigan only had 9 turnovers against Florida State. They have 9 already, 8 points converted by UCLA. So again, we talked about the mentality of this UCLA team being defensive-minded. Well, it showed up big time when they needed it after a slow offensive start in that first half.
Capital One rewarding performance. Johnny Juzang with 18. Let's send it over to Allie LaForce. What'd you learn in the halftime locker rooms, Allie?
Brian and Jim, I asked Coach Cronin about that slow start offensively. He said, listen, Michigan is really, really good defensively. He also is never satisfied in the defensive end. He said, despite forcing the 9 turnovers and holding them 1 to 5 from 3, we were aggressive, but we have to get better. We gave up a few too many roll layups. Also, Coach Howard said UCLA's defense is forcing them way out on the perimeter. They need to rotate the ball and shoot with confidence. He also said we have to slow down. We have to play our game, be confident, most importantly, let that first half go.
Well, it's an unfamiliar position for the Michigan Wolverines. Every basket is earned in a game like this. Low-scoring first half. Tiger Campbell comes out, hits the first bucket for UCLA. Opens up a 6-point lead. Dickinson working on Riley. Remember, Riley with a couple of fouls, but I thought the big storyline in the first half, Jim, was the fact that Kenneth Nuba came on for UCLA and settled it, even with Riley on the bench.
Well, you know what, and that's the beauty of the game. You never know who's going to show up for you when guys are ready. Nuba did that, but on that particular play with Dickinson, he was deeper in the post, BA. 2 dribbles now, he was able to get to his sweet spot and convert. So let's see if Michigan goes back to that.
Here's Campbell again over the 7-footer. Wow, what a shot by Tiger Campbell. Just to finish that thought, Cody Riley did not play the last 6 minutes of the first half, and yet UCLA outscored Michigan 13-6. That's a deficiency for them. They're without in their post squad, and that's Tiger Campbell just over the 7-footer. Man, that was something.
Well, that's when you lean back a little bit, you may not have the height, but that gives you a few more inches of space to be able to get a shot up.
Riley with 3 fouls now. Nuba back on the floor, and out of bounds. Wagner was right there, can't finish it. Heard some footsteps.
And Nuba there for the contest too. Once again, he didn't get the block, but his presence being right there probably took away the sidelines for Wagner, who couldn't convert.
UCLA started 2 of 14, started this game, just those 4 points in the first 10.5 minutes. They scored 23 the remainder of the first half, and Juzang had 12 straight at one point. And it's going to be foul on Michigan. They did.
Oh man,
it's going to be 3 shots.
Yep.
Foul on the shot. What do you think?
Well, let's take a look at the end of it right now. In the NBA, that's not a foul. That's coming out on the side. They changed that play. But in college, I guess they called it. But going into the motion here, up, sold it at the free throw line.
3 shots for Johnny Juzang. A reminder, you can watch Masters live on Paramount Plus for coverage of featured groups Amen Corner and holes 15 and 16. Go to ParamountPlus.com to try it free. Spring has arrived. Johnny Juzang knocks down all 3 free throws. His 3rd NCAA tournament game this run with 20 or more points. He's got 21 right now. Eli Brooks gives it up. Smith and Brooks in the backcourt, and there's Tiger Campbell. Got the steal. A Michigan turnover. That is the 10th turnover for the Wolverines.
Well, also remember talking to Mick Cronin, they track the number of deflections during the game. He said he wanted to get up to 20, 30 deflections if he could. And a lot of times it may not result in a steal like that one, but it does complicate your opposing team's offense.
Juzang, little turnaround. Juzang had 23 against Michigan State, went for 27 against BYU, has 21 already in this Elite 8 matchup with Michigan. Dickinson lost the handle, going to be a foul, I believe, on Jaquez. And a shooting foul here. Hunter Dickinson has been quiet. Remember, he had a dunk early in the game, got free. It was a beautiful set by Michigan. And I think UCLA in this tournament here in Indianapolis has finally gotten to the level that Mick Cronin has been preaching since he arrived in Westwood, now in his 2nd year as the head coach for the Bruins. The kind of defense we saw at Murray State and then Cincinnati. This is a staple of Mick Cronin.
It is. Again, it took time, but now let's just take a look at Michigan. What have we seen early in the second half? Dickinson on the post.
Oh.
missed free throw there, but you kind of see the game plan, and this doesn't look.
Juzang hit the deck.
Yeah, just walk it off a little bit. Hopefully,
he's had some ankle problems at the end of the regular season in the Pac-12. Juzang had ankle problems, cost him one game. I think he came down on one of his teammates' foot here. There's Juzang in the middle.
Right there, just turned up. Yeah, it's going to take a lot more to get him out this game. I'm sure hopefully he'll be able to walk it off a little bit. When you get that initial twist, I've been there so many times. You know, keep our eye on the time, too, in which he left the game.
It's a right ankle, Allie.
It's the same ankle he's struggled with in the past. Missed the game March 6th with the ankle sprain. Sprained the same ankle March 18th against Michigan State. He told me since Michigan State, he's been around the clock, elevation and ice to reduce the swelling, not going too hard on the team's off days of practice, but he can't avoid just staying in trouble with this right ankle.
Thank you, Allie. Good stuff there. We saw him in that Michigan State game in the first 4, and he was really hobbled late in that game. So much so we were concerned next time around.
Right.
Mick Cronin said, what ankle? I don't know. He didn't have an ankle. I'm not listening to anybody right now. He's available. He's on the floor. He's on the board. So the officials are taking a look at the clock here, by the way, Jim.
Well, so going back to the site of what we saw with Juzang, I look at guys' body language. And body language will tell you a lot about the injury. And right there, to me, it seems like Juzang is like, okay, it twisted, it hurts. Let's see if we can retape it, gets himself maybe back in this game.
Yeah, that right ankle. He saw his parents there, his family in the stands. They're glad to have him back. Went to Kentucky, wasn't happy there. A little bit different role. They opened him up at UCLA, transferred, became eligible right away. He's had a great year for the Bruins. Right there in his hometown in LA. UCLA up 9. Kyman gets it deep. Ooh, buys himself some real estate. Can't get the bounce. Wagner with the rebound. Eli Brooks at the controls here.
Back inside.
On the bench, Dickinson working on Nuba, and the lefty scores it. That's his spot, his sweet spot right there. The big lefty, the freshman of the year in the Big Ten.
Well, he wants to get to that right shoulder, but excellent job that time by Eli Brooks to push the pace. Reason why now Dickinson got deep post position. The help defense wasn't there. He was able to get over his right shoulder.
Jaquez gets a mismatch. Nice feed. Nuba couldn't handle it. Hit him right in the stomach. Brooks probing now. Michigan down 7 with the ball. Second half in this Elite 8 matchup. Whoa, Dickinson fires one off the backboard.
He's fired up right now. Hey, listen, I would be too if the coach is making demands to say, get him the basketball and get me the basketball every time down.
That's the biggest advantage Michigan has. An outstanding player at 7'1". Kyman almost lost the handle. Tiger Campbell checked by Brooks. Campbell up and over Dickinson. Rebound ripped down. Brown. We'll get it organized here. Michigan not afraid to use clock either. Very slow in their pace. Don't take advantage of transition often. They want to get it to this guy. Oh, that's a block on Nuba. Twice Nuba took charges in the first half. This time they got him with a block, and Dickinson is fired up, Jimmy Jacks.
There's nothing wrong but continue to go to the well, especially kicking off a lot of spring water. It's healthy for you. And it's healthy for Michigan to keep going inside to Dickinson.
Hunter Dickinson, 6 points here in the second half, about 4.5 minutes of play. The bench cam powered by AT&T 5G. Johnny Juzang has returned to the floor. Let's check in with Allie LaForce. What'd you see over there, Allie? He was right next to you.
Yes, he was. It's the third time he sprained that right ankle since March 6th. Went back to the locker room, got it retaped, came back out. Really powerful moment when he put his shoe back on. He got up, still had a little bit of a limp, but pounded his chest and said, let's go, and joined the team in the huddle. He's going to try to give it a go.
Hey, if you're a hooper, it's not getting better.
Nope.
Sitting on the bench.
Not at all.
Got to get there and keep it hot as Dickinson. A flurry of moves. Too strong, and Jaquez will wrestle down the rebound.
Well, that time Dickinson had his right hand right in the middle of the lane, but because he's probably more comfortable going back left, he turned over and made the shot a little bit more difficult than it had to be.
Michigan made back-to-back baskets with Juzang when he left after he rolled that ankle.
Saw that coming.
Yep.
I saw that coming. I saw it coming. John D. Brown right there knew Uber was coming up, and instead of trying to get that right leg over, he just plowed right into him.
You never know, he might get a call out of it. Second team foul for Michigan. Michigan does a good job at limiting the fouls.
Yep.
Just a little over 5 minutes into this second half. This game, there's not a lot of rhythm offensively, and it feels boxy on the offensive end, but you got to credit both of these defenses. It's going to be hard to come by to score in this one.
Yeah, it's little ways, because UCLA came on a halftime with a little bit of rhythm, scoring 7 points quite early, but now kind of stuck in the mud based on UM's defense.
Campbell gets a switch, tried to take Dickinson. Bernard, offensive board, can't hit it. A couple of opportunities there for UCLA. Brooks clears it away. Brooks running the point, looking for the big man. Got him deep, and a foul. No shot here. Lee Cassell, the official, said prior to the release or the gather of Dickinson.
Take a look at this pass. Left hand inside, right in the pocket so Dickinson can catch and shoot.
Eli Brooks had a 21-point game against LSU. That was a season high. He's the captain. Phil Martelli, associate head coach of Michigan, says he's the most important piece we have. Nuba picks up his third foul. He's got plenty to give, though.
Yeah.
Dickinson, now Jaquez on him. Double team comes. Dickinson fights through it, can't get it. Nuba there with a strong rebound.
Well, and this is where Dickinson, his evolution of his game is going to come. They know he wants to get to his right shoulder. Post up a little bit higher. Now you're able to spin to the baseline, BA, and you'll have an easy right hand, either jump hook or layup off the glass.
Juzang, see how mobile he is. He'll pull up here, long two, and Wagner pulls down the rebound. Here come the Wolverines, down 5. On the take goes John, stepped on the baseline. A Michigan turnover, number 11.
Got it. Bo Borowski, the official, cut the foul first.
Overturned it, said to push.
Well, and let's see, because Bo Borowski is on the outside, so he can see the hand right there with the little nudge, and that's what Bo is calling. I don't know how much of it is there.
I'll tell you that there's pressure on officials too, and you get one overturned like that.
Yeah.
Bo Borowski has been looking at Vern Harris, allowing him to make the calls in the first half. Remember, 2 occasions, but now overturns this one. Oh, Brown got his man in the air, didn't take it. Shot clock at 8. Down on the baseline, Brooks. Man, how pretty was that? Brooks finding some real estate to work with down there in amongst the trees.
Oh, that was just savvy right there. Maintained his dribble. Knew that Nuba was right there. Froze him just with that head fake in order to get the shot up. That's a veteran play right there by Brooks.
Jaquez gets it deep. Jump hook. No. Disrupted by Dickinson. That's a 7'3" wingspan. You got to shoot over right there. Wagner gives it right back. Brooks got the switch he wants. Got a big man out on him. They're looking for Dickinson inside. And now they clear it out. Brooks. Nuba trying to stay with him. Quick release. Got another one. 2 big baskets by Eli Brooks. 8-0 Michigan run. It's a 1-point game. And now you know why they say Eli Brooks is the most important player. Maybe not the best, not the most gifted, Jimmy, but the most important.
And the most experienced. And you see it show up right now in the second half. When you need a basket, he's able to get downhill, freeze his opponent, softly kiss it off the glass.
Howard carrying that Fab 5 mantle proudly now at Michigan as the head coach. How about we take you back? Michigan UCLA 1993 NCAA tournament. Jimmy King would make the game-winning putback to help the top-seeded Wolverines defeat the 9-seed UCLA Bruins 86-84. They were down 20 at the half. Juwan Howard said, "Oh, I remember every inch of that game." He said, "Check Ed O'Bannon stats from the second half, not the first half. Things changed." There's Jalen Rose. Shout out to our guy Chris Weber and the Fab Five, well represented. The Big Ten Coach of the Year, Juwan Howard. And he's trying to become a select few to play and coach in a Final Four with a win here today. Riley back on the floor, comes up short. He's got to be cold, Jim. He hasn't really had a lot of floor time here. He's been in foul trouble. Not a lot of rhythm here for Riley, who was so good for UCLA against Alabama in the Sweet 16. Faulkner, a little step back three. Singleton with a rebound. UCLA on a long drought without a basket over 6.5 minutes. There goes Riley again in the block. Riley, he's a lefty too, and he scores it over Dickinson.
Well, deep post position that time. Now we'll give him, he took the jump shot. That wasn't, he can knock it in, but that's where he makes his money. That time able to put that big backside right in the chest of Dickinson, carve out some space.
It's going to be an offensive foul. Foul on Dickinson will put the ball back in the hands of UCLA. Riley going to work. He's got some stuff down there himself. Good to see him back on the floor. Well, the first four to the Final Four. Only one has done it. Shaka Smart and VCU back in 2011, the first year that in this particular format with the first four that was in Dayton until this year, Jimmy, and Mick Cronin's team has a chance to do that this season. It would be Mick Cronin's first trip to the Final Four as a coach. There's his father, Hep, longtime basketball coach. He coached Mick, and also a baseball scout, and a very good one for the Atlanta Braves. He signed Dave Justice. He wears that 1995 Atlanta Braves World Series championship ring. Riley gets it deep and scores it on Austin Davis.
Well, but great play out of the timeout. That time, able to use Johnny Juzang to dart down, but then set the back pick, knowing that you can't help too much off of. Keep your eye. Once you go down in, Eli Brooks can't help as much. You know why? Because Juzang can catch and shoot and square up. Juzang doing the right thing, putting the body inside to be able to get Riley open.
They called that foul on Jules Bernard away from the ball. 5-point game, Michigan down, looking inside again. Austin Davis, double team, dribbles out of it, repost. And a one-on-one matchup here. Davis just backing his way in, counted and one.
And if you're a Michigan fan, you're probably asking yourself, and that's the fourth foul on Riley. It didn't really look seamless on the offensive possession, but that time Austin Davis still able to carve out some space inside, knowing Riley has 3 fouls. And that's a tough way to pick up your 4th foul right there. I mean, that's, to me, is pretty good defense. But the officials saw otherwise.
And it's an and one.
Yep.
As well. Vern Harris had the call and a 3-point trip down the floor, and Riley with foul number 4. That means Kenneth Nuba is back on the floor. He has played a career high in minutes in this game. He played 16 minutes against BYU in the first round, and he's back on the floor, and there's a hit by Juzang.
That's a good sign too, able to come off that pick. But back to Nuba. Here's the difference though. Those 16 minutes were spread out, probably 2 here, 3 there. You know, he's played extended minutes to get to that 16, and that's what coaches really don't want to do, because then the player is not as efficient once he gets tired.
Davis got his own. Oh, he missed the dunk, blew a tire, but right there to put it back is Shawnee Brown. And 3 offensive rebounds on that possession for Michigan. 2-point game, UCLA with the lead and the ball. Halfway through this second half as we go under 10 minutes. A trip to the Final Four at stake. These brand name programs, UCLA and Michigan. Juzang feeling it. Brooks with a rebound. First 3-point miss for Johnny Juzang. Davis now, and that was Juzang from behind. Got a hand on that. In transition now, Juzang all the way. Oh, get it out of here. Brandon Johns Jr. with the denial.
Now, 2 good defensive plays. Austin Davis wanted to get it across court, but by Brooks being there, that allowed Brandon Johns Jr. to come from the backside. Put his paws all over that.
Johns making his 5th consecutive start, doubling up his minutes after Isaiah Livers was injured. Isaiah will not come back, will not return this year. That stress fracture in the foot. Bernard gets around it. Air ball. And Mick Cronin is talking to the official, Bo Borowski, that he got him on the elbow. Jules Bernard looked at his head coach saying, give me a little help here.
I mean, you rarely see Jules Bernard get to that 15-foot jump shot and shoot an air ball. So he may have a point, we haven't seen it, but the official didn't call it. Now they came back and called an offensive foul on Eli Brooks.
Right,
let's see if he touched them on there. Nope, not even close. So Bo Borowski was correct on that one. Tiger Campbell, that's a little, I thought he was more on the side a little bit than right in front of Eli Brooks, and that's
second for Brooks.
Second for Brooks, so
won't be there long.
No,
I wouldn't think.
No,
maybe get him to the under 8.
Get him a quick break, timeout.
Looking for Juzang. Wagner's an excellent defender. He's had his hands full though. That's a 2 for Johnny Juzang. Man, he's hitting tough shots, contested shots. 25 points for Johnny Juzang.
You think that ankle is okay? What do you think?
I think it is flowing right now, flowing. There's the foul situation for UCLA. Riley with 4 could be significant. Nuba. And Nuba takes Jaquez out with him. And it's an easy rim run right there for Austin Davis.
Yeah, but how about the pass that time by Wagner? Put a little sauce on it, bounced right into Austin Davis' hands. He was able to finish that with ease.
UCLA's biggest lead was 9. Michigan had a lead of 7 early in this game. UCLA scored just 4 points in the first 10.5 minutes. They have been settled since. Going deep into their rotation. Juzang, no. And there's Davis with a rebound, falling down, got it to a teammate. I tell you, Austin Davis has given him some good minutes here as well. Dickinson with those 2 fouls on the bench. Davis and Nuba, who had that as a key matchup in this Elite 8 game. Davis, a flurry of moves. The right-handed hook, no. Kept alive. Wagner's got it. New 20 for Michigan.
Yeah, Davis that time stayed active, able to tip it back out. Another possession that time for, well, this time for Michigan.
8 offensive rebounds for the Wolverines. They're +2 in that category. They're +9 in rebounds overall as Smith cashes one in. Michigan in front. First made 3 for Mike Smith. His first made basket of the game. Michigan has their first lead since it was 17-16 when Johnny Juzang was going off in that first half. Scored 12 in a row at one point. This is Campbell now with Wagner on him. Oh, how does he do it? He's giving up almost a foot to Franz Wagner, still able to get the scoop in.
But you know what? Mick Cronin is finding mismatches. He wanted Johnny Juzang to set that pick so Tiger Campbell can get the isolation up top on Wagner. And once again, it paid off for the Bruins.
That's a travel. Wagner walks with it. Turnover. Timeout on the floor.
And we talked about the point guards in this game. Mike Smith able to knock in his first 3 big-time shot, and Tiger Campbell, not a 3, but I'll take all 2 of these.
Hair. It's about the hair. Matchup Michigan and UCLA on TBS. Our game summary. It's a 1-point game. Michigan briefly had the lead. UCLA wrestles it back. Not a lot of 3-point shooting here, Jimmy. The modern game is behind the arc, but not with these 2 defenses.
Now, speaking of defenses, Michigan comes out in the 2-3 zone. You saw the 32 points in the paint for the Wolverines. Keep in mind, Wolverines had 50 points in their last victory against Florida State.
Tiger Campbell's got Brooks on him. Now Smith and Bernard misses the 3. Bernard gets his own and scores. Boy, he needed that. He had a long drought. Did Jules Bernard, needed to see one go through. Snaps an 0 for 16 skid for Jules Bernard.
And the young freshman Mac Etienne is in the game, so keep our eye on that matchup as well with Dickinson inside.
Number 12 for UCLA, should be in high school right now.
Yep.
Oh, cash money. Shawnee Brown, a three-pointer. "15 bench points for Michigan. Brown leads him with 8. Davis has the other 7. Davis on the bench right now. Dickinson back on the floor. Back and forth they go. We're all tied at 46 now. Fourth tie of this game. Juzang will let it fly. Dickinson taps it to Brown. Here come the Wolverines with a chance to take the lead. 4:45 remaining in regulation. Mike Smith tells Brown, go get him. Dickinson posting up Etienne, the freshman. And Dickinson is fouled. Got help from Jaquez. Let's see who the foul belongs to. It'll be on Etienne.
Another assist to made field goal that time. Shawnee Brown able to get it. And that time, Jaime Jaquez was right there in the middle with Brandon Johns at the free throw line. Should have came down a little bit more, because if anything, you would rather have Brandon Johns take that jump shot. But Dickinson able to pick up the foul.
Boy, Dickinson normally shoots it well. He's a 76% free throw shooter. Riley back on the floor. So Mick Cronin is taking a shot right now. Mac Etienne, just a couple of possessions there. Brown exits as well. And Cody Riley with those 4 fouls returns. 4.5 minutes to go. Dickinson rattles one home, and the Wolverines are in front. 47-46 Michigan. Under 4.5 to go in regulation of this Elite Eight game. Campbell finds Juzang. Give it right back. Looking for Riley. He's calling for it, screaming for it. Got a mismatch down there. There goes Bernard. Almost lost it. Bernard. Oh, he got it off the window.
Great control and concentration. Footwork. Michigan just a fingernail away from getting the steal.
UCLA back in front.
And Dickinson wants it. He knows Riley has 4 fouls.
Gives it up. Johns now with Jaquez on him. Johns. No, Jaquez. Hold serve. This last 3.5 minutes is going to fly by.
These defenses both are great at not fouling, playing position defense.
In a game like this, you know, possessions are so key because you're not going to get many of them. Both teams like to pound the ball, go deep in the clock. And look at Riley. No, Dickinson taps it to Smith. The Wolverines secure the board. Michigan down a point with the ball here. Approaching 3 minutes left. Wagner on the take. No. Bernard with the rebound.
And that's usually Wagner's move, especially him able to turn the corner with his defender on his back, but good contest that time inside.
These are the moments here they talk about forever. When that rim starts to get tight, late game clutch spot. Who's going to take the big shots the rest of the way? 2.5 to go. Shot clock at 5. Riley down to Jaquez. Jaquez, a flurry of moves up and over the backboard, and that is going to be a shot clock violation. Hit the back of the backboard. Michigan ball, down a point. The intensity of the NCAA tournament. It's March Madness. It's the Elite Eight. One last spot for the Final Four up for grabs, and coming up after the game, get all the tournament highlights and analysis inside March Madness, presented by Buick, only on TBS. The only double-digit seed to beat a 1 seed and a 2 seed in the same tournament is LSU in '86. UCLA trying to do just that after they beat number 2 Alabama. They got number 1 Michigan here. They're up a point. Johnny Juzang with 25 points. Had 18 in that first half. And let's look at personnel here, Jim. With foul trouble, with matchups, it's Michigan ball.
Well, let's see if Juwan moves Hunter Dickinson a little bit to allow him to catch in space. And while the defense is occupied, now he can go to work.
Remember Riley playing with those 4 fouls. Dickinson, they cleared out for him. He's a lefty. He wants to get to that other shoulder if he can. There he goes. He spins. He puts it up. No! Riley holds serve, and Jaquez with the rebound.
And even Riley being off balance, I think it threw the balance of Hunter Dickinson off a little bit. That time not able to get his legs up underneath him and finish that shot.
How about Mick Cronin, by the way, letting it ride with Riley with 4 fouls with 4.5 minutes. He couldn't handle that one. And what do we have here? It's going to be a held ball.
Michigan ball.
Possession arrow belongs to Michigan.
You know, it's interesting to watch, too. Down the stretch of the game when it's tight, when you can't make a lot of baskets, the tendency for teams is to inch in and decrease on spacing. You got to maintain your spacing in order for the plays that are being drawn up to have the full effect.
Michigan has 3 timeouts left. UCLA 2. Possession arrow now belongs to UCLA as Smith on the take. Smith cannot finish. Bernard the rebound. Here come the Bruins. Under a minute and a half to go. This one's coming right down to the last possession, it would seem. Campbell pounding him, taking time off the clock. Now Juzang with Brooks on him. Best perimeter defender. Juzang goes. Juzang scores!
And Hunter Dickinson, you can't go with Cody Riley. Let him go to the other side. Keep yourself positioned in the middle of the court. That way you can take one step over. And now Johnny Juzang doesn't get that close, but that was an excellent play by Juzang to finish that.
Wolverines down 3. Wagner on the take. Wagner goes. That's a foul on Riley. That's number 5. Strong move to the basket. Franz Wagner will go to the free throw line, and that's the end of the line for Riley.
Well, watch Hunter Dickinson. He's going across. No, just stay in the middle. Come over one more. Now you're outside the lane. He can take that away. Smart play by Wagner. Get downhill. Use that long athletic body to pick up a foul and get yourself to the free throw line.
2-shot foul here. Cody Riley will exit. 4 points, and Mick Cronin's going to go with Kenneth Nuba, the sophomore from Nigeria, who has logged a career high in minutes. And he's played great tonight. He's taken a couple of charges, he's ripped down some rebounds, but he is on the floor in some serious crunch time now. 20 minutes of floor time for Nuba, 2 free throws for Wagner. 3-point game. Mom and Dad, Axel Biate, coming over from Germany to watch Franz play in this tournament. Agonizing to watch your child in a spot like this.
Trust me, I've been there. I've been there.
And he knocks them both down.
Well, now Michigan get a chance to set their defense. Very important for the back line of Michigan, knowing the pick and roll may come, and Juzang gets it, that you yell and you talk early. Timeout by UCLA.
And remember, Michigan only with 4 fouls, so they're going to have to take some fouls, give some fouls to get to the point to put UCLA on the line if they have to. Timeout on the floor. Said it's a 1-point game. Bruins in the lead with the ball. UCLA 1 timeout left. And again, the foul situation, Michigan still has 3 to give before they could get into the bonus. Talk us through this possession here defensively, Jimmy, for Michigan. What's the strategy? There's about 13 seconds, 14 seconds separating shot and game.
Well, if you're going to take a foul, too, you want to make sure it's not in the shooting for UCLA, but you want to play solid defense because in this possession, you've known to be able to stop. You know Juzang is going to come off some sort of pick, probably coming off the baseline. You want to be solid and force someone else to have to beat you, and then, of course, BA, finish your defense with a defensive rebound.
What a game. Coming right down to the end. 30 seconds to go. Campbell kicks it. Jaquez for 3. No! Michigan with a rebound. Brown cleared it away. Now Michigan will take a timeout. Juwan Howard will set one up. Shot clock is off. Michigan down a point with the ball. Got a good look. Campbell drives it, kicks it. Jaquez, been clutch all year, comes up short. Well, Juwan Howard takes a timeout. He's got 2 left. 19.8 seconds remain. UCLA sitting on the 9 fouls. Next foul for them is going to give Michigan 2 free throws here, Jimmy. And all year long, Mick Cronin has been preaching to his team, defense is what is going to carry you through the tough times, the poor shooting nights. And right now, UCLA and Mick Cronin needing a defensive stop. Meanwhile, for Jalen Rose and the Wolverines, they've got a lot of shot makers on their team. They're the #1 seed, won the Big Ten regular season title this year. Juwan Howard, the coach of the year in the Big Ten. Where are you headed with this one, Jim?
Well, first, I'm surprised that the shot from Jaquez came so soon. Now you're giving Michigan enough time, not only for a shot, but an offensive rebound opportunity, okay? Right. They've been really good, Michigan, when they've been able to move Dickinson inside and drop it to him. Or Wagner is really good catching misdirection off the run, seeing if he can get downhill.
The moment of truth. 19.8 seconds. Here we go. Michigan down a point. Got a chance at the last one here to send them to the Final Four. Wagner for 3. It's on its way. It's an air ball, but Brooks has a rebound now. It's rebounded by UCLA. A foul. My goodness. Jalen Bernard comes up with a rebound. A couple of really good looks. Michigan could not convert.
Well, got the ball in the hands of one of your better offensive players. Had a clean look, just left it short, wide open. And then Eli Brooks, I thought, could have took one more dribble and maybe gathered himself and what up. Now, UCLA, keep the ball out of the corners. Easy trap situation for Michigan to do. You want to keep it closer to the middle of the court.
Still have 2 more fouls to get him to the line for a 1-and-1.
And you got to be strong with the basketball.
UCLA with the lead, 7.1 seconds. Bernard, the trigger man. And got a whistle here. I think
he caught it on Mike Smith
early.
Foul
on Smith. Okay, so 1 more to get UCLA to the free throw line.
You got to put a couple more seconds and went back up from 6.8 to 7.1 on the clock. Now, Jules Bernard.
Johnny Juzang, best free throw shooter right there. And there is the foul.
Yep.
And Juzang, a 91% free throw shooter. And a 1-and-1. 6.3 seconds remaining. Wagner had a good look at 3, left it short. Brooks was there for the offensive rebound, couldn't put it back. And now Johnny Juzang, their best free throw shooter. Pressure. Got it.
What pressure, BA?
Oh.
What pressure?
Man. Big free throw. 2-point lead. And a timeout.
Juwan wants to make him think about that next one, BA.
Icing the kicker. Johnny Juzang has 1 more free throw. 2-point game. We'll take a timeout. Bruins fans are feeling it right now. Door is open. Johnny Juzang is at the line for 1 more. Right now a 2-point game. Remember at the end of the Sweet 16 matchup with Alabama 2 days ago, Mick Cronin, who typically likes to foul up 3, Jimmy, he didn't. He pulled him off because he thought Nate Oates overheard.
Exactly. He thought Nate Oates overheard that they were going to foul right away, so he did not want to put his players in a situation where they would catch and throw it up and get credited for a 3-point shot. So it's going to be very interesting to see right here if Juzang makes the free throw. Would they employ that foul strategy?
Juwan Howard has 1 more timeout. Yep. Juzang, and he missed it.
Timeout.
Timeout is called. a lot of time rolled off the clock. I think they'll take a look at this. They'll probably add a few more seconds. So 3.8 seconds currently, but I do believe they will take a look and add a couple of seconds. Juzang hits the first, misses the second, and there's the timeout, probably around the 5.9, 6.1 range.
Well,
Bo Borowski's on it.
I always say this at the end of the game. Force your opponent, if you're UCLA, to catch the ball coming towards the baseline. If you allow a wheel route, now momentum, they catch it closer to half court, 2 dribbles, they're over. Now they're into the kill zone where they can make either a pass or a shot, or a shot or a pass. You see what I'm saying? And get a good look.
Well, now
minimum of 0.3. Minimum of 0.3. 6-0.
What is it?
A 3 could win it. I couldn't quite hear what Bo Borowski. A minimum of 0.3 was the verbiage. I'm not sure. So you're adding. Okay, so 6.0 is where they put the clock now.
Yep, and also Mick Cronin doesn't put a man on the ball out of bounds. He likes to double.
Minimum of 0.3. Bo Borowski saying runs off the clock when you touch the ball until you get the timeout. So that's why we landed at 6 seconds. Well, Mick Cronin and the Bruins. They won in overtime against Michigan State. Saw a 3-pointer go down against Alabama to tie the game to force overtime. And now they're in a position, last possession, Michigan with the ball, 6 seconds, down 2. A 2 to tie, a 3 to win it. And a trip to the Final Four. Here we go. Smith's got it. Across the midcourt line. Smith's going to pull a 3. This is for the lead. No! And did it expire? The officials look up. It's close. They will look at it. Maybe a half a second. Smith had a good look for the lead.
Yep, good look. But I just like the fact that he had Tiger Campbell backpedaling. He could have gotten himself into what I think could have been an easier shot, because you really don't need the 3. If you can get the 2 and tie it, it's great. It's a good look, don't get me wrong. Just off, and when it goes out, was it 0.6 maybe?
Jalen Clark touched it last. It's going to be Michigan ball. And let's see if we can get a mark as soon as it hits the baseline here, right?
There.
0.5.
0.5.
So you have time to get a shot up.
Yep.
Gene Steratore looks like maybe 0.5, 0.4. And 0.5 it is the official
Great call, guys. Yeah, you could see it from the opposite baseline camera angle, 0.5. We know now that you can have a catch and shoot because we're not at 0.3 or under. So we can actually have a catch of a pass and a shot now and have it be still legal.
Well, against Stanford, UCLA gave up a backdoor cut to De Silva to win the game. Taking the ball out of bounds, force it to go to the corner or back to half court.
And UCLA will take their last timeout. Timeouts are empty. Baseline out of bounds. Michigan down 2, 0.5 left. The Wolverines have missed the last 7 shots. And they've had a couple of good looks. Wagner had a good look for 3.
Yep.
Smith had a good look for 3. And with all that size.
Well, it'd be interesting too, but I think on that last possession, correct me if I'm wrong, that was a 2-3 zone underneath. So he gave Jawan that look. Jawan is now drawing up a play that he thinks that are going to be in the zone, but you got to give him 2 plays. Because if it's a zone, it's one type of play. If it's man-to-man, you got to recognize that right away and be able to run that man-to-man play that you've worked on before to get the shot that you want. So a little strategy going on by both coaches.
So this is before the timeout. This was the defensive look by UCLA.
2-3, because Duper is right there in the middle of the lane. You see what I'm saying? That's the look that Mick wanted to give Juwan. Now let's see what they come out in this play, on this possession now.
Got time for a catch and shoot. Look at Juwan, calm. He's been in it. Got a moment. He's drawn up a play here, and if it works, kind of play they put on T-shirts for a while.
Man, I told you, heartbreak has happened at UCLA before.
Oh, especially in this city.
Yeah. Well, it's the same.
Here we go. 0.5. Enough for a catch and shoot. Dickinson will put it in. There's the catch. Here's the shot. Wagner off the glass. No! Oh! It's over! And UCLA from the first four to the final four. The Bruins of UCLA advancing to the Final Four for the first time since 2008. Mick Cronin will go to the Final Four for the first time in his coaching career. Michigan, Jimmy, they missed their last 8 shots. Contested 3, Bernard was right with him. Wagner misses. And the Bruins advance.
Well, but you called it, BA, in regards to UCLA hanging their hat on the defense, and when they needed to get stopped at the end of this game, they didn't. And can I say this? Both coaches, new situations, different pressures. And look how far they've been able to take their teams. Juwan Howard in his second year in the Elite Eight. Mick Cronin in his, now able to get to a Final Four. A credit to both coaches and their coaching staff for putting in the right mindset and mantras to get their team to compete at a high level.
The Bruins take down a 2 seed in Alabama and now a 1 seed in Michigan. Only other team to do that as a double-digit seed is LSU back in '86, and the Final Four is set. Gonzaga and UCLA. West Coast bias, Jimmy. Baylor and Houston, an old Southwest Conference matchup. What a finish. The Bruins are moving on from the first 4 to the Final Four. How about that? The top seed, the Michigan Wolverines, they are out. More coming up in a moment.